Welcome. This is the technique that I found for exporting the risk register data created in P6 into Primavera Risk Analysis, PERTmaster PRA. Now, supposedly this will work if PRA has access to the EPPM files, but I can't test. I don't know that's for a fact. And what I do know is that even when I have direct linkage with a standalone P6 and a PRA, it didn't work for me. It's supposed to be seamless, and the log says it's transferring the data. It just didn't. But why I wanted to go through all this trouble is I think that the risk register in P6, this sample right here, is a little more powerful than you're going to get when you develop one in Excel. And part of that is the impacts that we have here and a few other things. So I would invite you to use this when you, for each one of your projects, as you're developing your risk register. When you first do your initial investigation, your initial identification of the risk, I would use the P6 risk register in lieu of the PRA risk register, which I think is far superior. And if you have access to that, that's the way I would go. So given that, this is what you have to do if you want to use the P6 risk register, which I want to encourage you to do if you don't have access to the PRA risk register. So what you have to do is create a report, and the only thing I want to show you there is just how extensive the report will be. You will basically use all of the available columns except for these three. And we don't want to have them in this order here, but since you've already got the template here that you brought over from PRA, you know what fields you have to have it in what order. So I got a little ahead of myself here, but once you run the report, this is the output that you're going to get. Now, one of the difficulties here is that we've got to convert the impacts here into alpha characters. And another thing to be aware of here is that I've already done it, but the columns U and V are populated with these dates, and you have to move them over to the columns W and X. And you'll see why in a little bit. But these are the various steps to go through that I went through to convert the impacts into something that we can use. So we just basically strip the 2, and then I'm going to convert that the text 2 into a numeric 2, and then from that numeric 2, then with the VLOOKUP, I'm going to turn that into something we can use. So once that's done, then we import that into Excel, and this is where you want to look at these dates. So that here's our W and X columns again. You want to make sure that the date columns that were in U and D are now in W and X. And another thing you want to do is on the column, the AAA column, the AA column, you want to put in the logical identifier. It's a false, and it's a drop down, so it's not a big deal there. But anyhow, you'll want to use the logical identifier as false there. And once you've got that, then you're all set. And so then we come over here into PRA, and we've already imported everything, of course. And then here's our risk register, and we're going to go in and import our risk register. And here we go. And voila, and we're all done, and we just saved ourselves a lot of the tedious work. Now we still have to go through and do a lot of the analysis, the mitigation, post-mitigation. I'm going to have to assign these to people. We're going to have to do all of our standard risk mitigation things, but this takes a lot of the drudgery out of it, especially for your risk analyst. If you can get the project planner to do this, it just takes a big burden off of him. but however you do it, I would recommend, if you're not using a risk register now, use the one in P6. And as soon as you capture that data, it's now available for use in PRA. I think you'll be ahead of the game. And again, if you do have access to PRA, use its risk register. It's just a hell of a lot more powerful and a lot more useful. And I'll have another video on that in a little bit. Well, I hope this was helpful. Thank you.